A blockchain may sound like a futuristic technology, but when you break it down, it's nothing more than a chain of data containers. Each of these containers is called a block, and today we're opening one to see what's really inside. Welcome to the 4th episode of Blockchain Beyond Bitcoin, a series inspired by the book of the same name by Markus Zed. But don't worry if this is your first episode, you'll be able to follow along easily. Today, we're taking a closer look at what a single block in a blockchain actually contains. We've previously explained that a blockchain is a database that stores information. In practice, it works like a digital ledger made up of many individual blocks. Each of these blocks stores data, but what data exactly? That depends on the specific blockchain. But despite these differences, all blockchains follow the same basic structure. Every block consists of two main parts, a header and a body. The header contains the metadata that describes the block and links it to the rest of the chain. The body contains the actual data that is meant to be stored, for example, transactions or any other type of information. Let's look at this using Bitcoin as an example. The block header is like the title section of a page. It contains all the metadata that defines the block. In Bitcoin, the block header includes 6 elements: the version, the hash of the previous block, the Merkle root, the timestamp, the difficulty, and the nonce. All of these fields are combined to calculate the hash of the current block, and that hash is what makes manipulation detectable. If even a tiny detail changes, the hash changes completely. We'll explore hashes, nonces, and mining in more detail in future episodes. Other blockchains, such as Ethereum, include additional fields in their headers, for example, information about smart contracts, gas usage, or account states. But we won't dive into that in this episode. To keep things simple, we'll focus on Bitcoin. With that in mind, let's move from the header to the block body. The body contains the transactions confirmed by the block. At its core, every transaction answers 3 basic questions: who is sending, who is receiving, and what amount is being transferred. In Bitcoin, that's the essential idea. Technically, Bitcoin transactions are structured as inputs and outputs, but you can think of them like a simple bank transfer: sender, receiver, and amount. At the very top of the block, body is a special transaction called the Coinbase transaction. It's unique because this transaction creates new Bitcoins. The miner repeatedly changes values in the block, including the nonce, until the resulting hash meets the current difficulty target. When that happens, the miner is rewarded with newly created Bitcoins, as well as the transaction fees included in that block. We'll take a closer look at this mining process in a dedicated episode later on. In the early days of Bitcoin, each block created 50 new Bitcoins. Every 4 years, this reward is cut in half. So it went from 50 Bitcoins to 25 to 12.5 to 6.25, and today to 3.125 Bitcoins per block. The Coinbase transaction is the only way new Bitcoins enter the system. Now, it's important to note that other blockchains work differently. Ethereum, for example, does not create new tokens through a Coinbase transaction in the same way Bitcoin does. Its block body is structurally similar, but it includes additional information such as gas usage and smart contract data. We'll explore that more deeply in later episodes. Let's summarize what we've learned. A block is like a page in a digital ledger. The header contains all the metadata that defines the block and links it to the previous one. This includes information such as the previous block hash, the timestamp, and values related to mining. The difficulty and the nonce play a key role in that process. The body contains the actual data stored in the block. In Bitcoin, this means transactions including the Coinbase transaction that creates new Bitcoins. Together, these elements form a chain of blocks that is transparent, verifiable, and extremely hard to manipulate. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. Step by step, you'll gain a deeper understanding of blockchain technology. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.